Time is your greatest asset. Spend it where growth multiplies. This truth lies at the very heart of every transformation, every rise from obscurity to greatness. There is nothing else you can call your own in this world with such purity as time. Money may come, money may vanish, friends may drift, opportunities may shift, but time remains the one treasure given to every person equally. Each day hands you 24 golden hours, no more and no less, and what you choose to do with them determines the height or the limitation of your life. The great divide between those who live with regret and those who stand as giants in their chosen paths is not talent, not luck, not the generosity of chance, but the discipline with which they spend their time. When you begin to see time as capital, as wealth in its purest form, your decisions change. You no longer squander it in idle gossip, endless distractions, or the numbing comforts that lull most people into mediocrity. Instead, you weigh each action as if it were an investment, asking yourself whether this moment will grow into something larger, stronger, and more powerful. A farmer does not waste his best seeds on barren ground, and neither should you throw your precious minutes into pursuits that cannot grow. Each conversation, each task, each book, each effort becomes a seed planted in the soil of your future. Some seeds will sprout into knowledge, others into opportunities, still others into strength of character, but all must be chosen with care. Imagine two people with the same 24 hours. One invests in reading, learning, sharpening his skills, building his body and his mind. The other spends his hours chasing trivial pleasures, distracted by entertainment and gossip. A year passes, then 2, then 5. Suddenly the first stands taller, clearer, stronger, commanding opportunities and wealth. The second remains stagnant, confused why the world seems to pass him by. Yet it was never the world. It was the use of their hours. Time invested wisely multiplies. Time wasted vanishes forever. The most dangerous illusion is believing that you can waste time today and make it up tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes in the form you expect. Each day is unique. Each sunrise a gift that cannot be duplicated. The wise protect their time with boundaries, refusing to let others steal their focus or their hours. They understand that saying yes to one thing is saying no to countless others, and so they guard their commitments fiercely. Time given to nonsense is time stolen from your dream. Time poured into growth is time that expands your destiny. To honor time is to honor yourself. It is to look in the mirror and declare that your future matters more than momentary comfort. It is to believe that your potential deserves cultivation, that your mind is a garden waiting for careful planting, that your spirit thrives when nourished with focus. When you choose to spend your time on growth, you say to the universe, I am ready for more, I am worthy of more, and I will create more. Every great figure in history built their legacy not from hours wasted, but from hours invested. You must do the same. Time is the one asset you cannot afford to mismanage. Every hour invested in self-development compounds into future wealth. The principle is simple yet profound. Wealth in all its forms, financial, spiritual, relational, intellectual, grows out of what you plant within yourself. If you choose to develop your mind, sharpen your skills, deepen your knowledge, and strengthen your body, every effort becomes a building block that compounds like interest in a bank account. A small daily investment grows quietly, invisibly, until one day the world sees the towering structure you have built with patience and persistence. Think of a single page read today, a single habit practiced tomorrow, a single thought of discipline the next day. None appear mighty on their own, yet repeated consistently, they accumulate into mastery. A language learned word by word, a craft sharpened hour by hour, a body transformed repetition by repetition. These are the silent compounding effects of self-investment. Just as financial wealth grows fastest for those who reinvest their earnings, personal wealth grows for those who reinvest their hours into growth. You may not see the change today or tomorrow, but years later the difference is undeniable. When you refuse to invest in yourself, you suffer the cost of stagnation. You remain trapped in the same problems, repeating the same mistakes, circling the same limitations. Opportunities pass you by because you are unprepared to seize them. The world pays in proportion to your value, and your value increases with every skill you acquire, every insight you gain, every discipline you master. Investing in yourself is not a luxury. It is a necessity if you wish to rise above mediocrity. The beauty of this principle is that no one can take your self-investment away. Money can be lost, possessions destroyed, reputations shaken, but the knowledge you have built, the resilience you have developed, the wisdom you have cultivated remain yours forever. They travel with you, strengthening you in every circumstance. The more you invest, the richer you become, not just in terms of money, but in the depth of your mind, the power of your character, and the confidence of your spirit. Every day offers a choice. Waste the hours on distraction or invest them in becoming more. Read the book, write the page, practice the skill, ask the question, build the habit, meditate on your purpose. Each act of self-investment may feel small, but like drops of water, they accumulate into rivers of transformation. And one day, you will awaken to discover that you have become the kind of person capable of achieving the dreams that once felt impossible. That is the compounding power of investing in yourself. It multiplies quietly until the world calls it greatness. Success begins when you discipline your time as carefully as your money. There is a law in life that is unshakable. What you manage with care grows, and what you neglect diminishes. Most people understand this when it comes to money. They budget, they save, they plan. Yet the very resource more valuable than money slips through their fingers without thought. Time is wealth in its purest form, and if you do not govern it with strict discipline, it will vanish like water through an open hand. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who live in regret is not that one had more hours than the other, but that one managed those hours with precision. A person who treats time loosely, who drifts from distraction to distraction, who allows others to dictate the use of their hours, will forever remain at the mercy of circumstances. A person who disciplines their time, who assigns each hour a purpose, who invests deliberately in growth, becomes the master of their destiny. To discipline time requires a shift in perspective. Each day is like a bank account loaded with 24 golden coins. Once the day is done, the account resets. But those coins are gone forever, spent either wisely or foolishly. Imagine handling money the way many handle time, giving it away to anyone who asks, wasting it on passing pleasures, neglecting to save or invest. Such a person would quickly fall into poverty. Yet the same principle holds for time. Undisciplined hours lead to a poverty of achievement, of fulfillment, of opportunity. You must become ruthless in guarding your hours. This does not mean living without joy or spontaneity, but it does mean being intentional. Ask yourself, does this task bring me closer to my vision or does it pull me away? Discipline is not about harshness, it is about alignment. Just as a builder follows a blueprint and measures each cut with care, you must measure each moment against your purpose. The hours you spend reading, learning, building skills, nurturing health, and strengthening your relationships are hours that create compound returns. The hours you squander on gossip, complaints, mindless scrolling, or empty indulgence are hours that vanish into nothingness. The truth is simple. Life pays you for how you spend your time. If you treat it as sacred, life rewards you with opportunities. If you treat it as disposable, life leaves you empty-handed. Just as money saved and invested builds wealth, time disciplined and invested builds greatness. And when you discipline your time, you gain a freedom others cannot imagine. The freedom of direction, the freedom of clarity, the freedom of achievement. The undisciplined are enslaved by distraction. The disciplined command their destiny. Wasted time is the costliest debt you can never repay. Money lost can be earned again. Friendships broken can be mended. Opportunities missed may return in another form. But wasted time is gone forever, carved out of your life like a missing piece of a puzzle that can never be replaced. Each wasted day reduces the span of possibility before you. Each wasted hour shrinks the canvas upon which you might paint your greatness. The tragedy of wasted time is that it often passes unnoticed until it is too late. People imagine that time stretches endlessly before them. They tell themselves they will begin tomorrow, that one day they will chase the dream, start the habit, commit to growth. But tomorrow arrives carrying the same excuses as today, and the cycle repeats until years have vanished like mist. Look at the faces of those who live with regret, and you will see the heavy debt of wasted time etched into those. Air expressions. They know the truth. Nothing is more costly than the hours they squandered. To waste time is not merely to be idle. Idleness can be rest, and rest has value when used with purpose. True waste occurs when hours are poured into activities that neither restore the spirit nor advance the purpose. It is not rest but distraction, not leisure but escape, not joy but avoidance. Hours spent numbing the mind with meaningless noise, hours drained by bitterness or envy, hours consumed in living for others' approval. These are the hours that build a debt you can never pay. The debt of wasted time grows silently. At first it seems harmless, a day lost here, a week there, but time accumulates. A year of distraction becomes 5, and suddenly a decade is gone. You wake to find that your dreams have withered, your energy has dulled, and your opportunities have slipped through your fingers. The world has moved forward while you stood still. This is the cruelest cost of wasted time, not only what you lose, but what you might have become. Yet within this truth lies a call to urgency. The past cannot be reclaimed, but the present remains in your hands. Every moment from now can be spent with intention. Every day can be invested in growth, in purpose, in building the life you desire. You cannot pay back the debt of wasted years, but you can prevent adding to it. The decision must be made now, not later. The future bends according to how you spend this very hour. Do not deceive yourself by imagining time is infinite. Life is fragile, fleeting, a candle that burns whether you watch it or not. The flame dwindles, the wax melts, and whether you use its light wisely or let it flicker in vain, it continues to burn. This is why every wasted hour carries such a weight. It diminishes what remains. But the same truth can empower you. Every hour used with intention strengthens the yellow. Light expands the warmth and leaves behind a glow that continues to shine in the world. Personal growth is the seed. Time is the soil. Together, they yield abundance. Every dream, every achievement, every towering success begins first as an invisible seed planted within. That seed may appear small and fragile, nothing more than a thought, a desire, or a spark of vision. But just as no tree can grow without soil to root itself in, no seed of personal growth can flourish without the rich soil of time. Time is what nurtures the seed, what allows it to spread roots, what gives it the opportunity to rise toward the sky. The tragedy is that most people scatter seeds carelessly and then grow impatient, expecting a harvest where no cultivation has occurred. They wish to achieve greatness without giving their dreams the time to mature. They plant an idea today and abandon it tomorrow when no instant results appear. Growth does not follow impatience, it follows nurturing. Just as the farmer waters the ground faithfully day after day, knowing that in due season the sprout will emerge, you must be willing to invest time in cultivating yourself, trusting that your harvest will come. Personal growth begins in small daily actions. Reading a book to stretch your mind, practicing a skill until it sharpens into mastery, reflecting on your experiences to turn them into wisdom. Each is a seed planted. These seeds rarely show results immediately, but with the soil of time they push upward, transforming into opportunities, character, and strength. Over weeks, months, and years, the soil of time turns fragile seeds into mighty trees. But soil must be fertile, and time must be used with care. If you pour your hours into distractions, if you let days slip by without investment, then even the best seeds cannot grow. Time is always working, whether for you or against you. When used for growth, it nourishes the seed. When wasted, it allows weeds to overrun your field. The person who spends years investing in themselves discovers an abundant harvest of wisdom, skill, and opportunity. The person who neglects this investment discovers a barren field, choked with weeds of regret. Abundance is not an accident. It is the natural result of seeds and soil working together. Growth without time cannot last. Time without growth produces nothing. But when growth and time unite, the results multiply beyond measure. The seed of knowledge grows into a career. The seed of discipline grows into strength. The seed of vision grows into a destiny. Look around at those who stand tall in their fields of achievement, and you will see people who planted seeds of growth and patiently gave them time to mature. Guard your time as you would guard your soil. Protect it from being trampled by distractions or poisoned by negativity. Choose carefully which seeds you plant, for not every idea or pursuit is worthy of your energy. But when you choose with wisdom and give your growth the soil of time, the abundance you reap will not only sustain you, but also provide shade and nourishment for others. True greatness is never for oneself alone. It becomes a shelter, an inspiration, and a legacy for those who come after. Guard your hours as a miser guards his gold. Every hour you possess is a coin of infinite value. Unlike money, which can be earned again, hours once spent can never be retrieved. Yet most people treat time as though it were endless, giving it away freely, wasting it carelessly, and spending it on things that bring no return. They guard their wallets while leaving their calendars unprotected, as if money is scarce but time is infinite. The reverse is true. Time is the rarest treasure you will ever hold. The miser knows the value of each coin in his possession. He counts them, protects them, and invests them only where he expects a return. So must you guard your hours. Do not let anyone steal your time with endless distractions, meaningless arguments, or tasks that do not serve your higher purpose. Say no when you must. Refuse to be pulled into the endless demands of others that do not align with your vision. To protect your hours is not selfishness, it is wisdom, for only by guarding your time can you build a life of meaning. Guarding time does not mean hoarding it in bitterness. A miser of money who never spends lives in poverty of spirit, and the same is true of time. Guarding your hours means choosing carefully where to spend them, investing them in things that multiply rather than vanish. An hour spent in learning multiplies into knowledge. An hour spent building relationships multiplies into love and support. An hour spent working with purpose multiplies into progress. But an hour lost to aimless scrolling, empty gossip, or needless worry vanishes forever, leaving you poorer for its loss. Every demand on your time is a withdrawal from your account. If you let the world dictate how you spend your hours, you will always end the day exhausted, with nothing meaningful to show for it. But if you become intentional, if you plan your hours, prioritize your goals, and protect your schedule, you begin to turn each hour into an investment. You begin to see your time as the treasure it truly is. The world will always attempt to steal your hours. Distractions will call, obligations will press, and temptations will whisper that you can always begin tomorrow. But tomorrow never arrives for those who surrender today. Guard your time with vigilance. Close the doors to distractions. Set boundaries around your priorities, and refuse to let anyone waste what is most precious to you. When you guard your hours, you gain something more than productivity. You gain freedom. Freedom to pursue what matters most. Freedom to live by your own design. Freedom to build the life you envision. Those who fail to guard their time become servants to the demands of others, forever reacting, forever drifting. Those who protect their hours become masters of their destiny, carving out the path they choose. Each day, imagine your hours as a chest of gold coins. Once spent, they are gone forever. Spend them on growth, on purpose, on love, on building the life that aligns with your highest vision. Protect them fiercely, for no treasure is greater, and no loss is more costly than the hours you let slip away.